here is Adam Silver.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zaccharie Risacher from Lyon, France, and France's JL Bourg-en-Bresse.
The 19-year-old, all smiles, with his father. As the Frenchman realizing his NBA dream. And keep in mind here, we're seeing a trend that continues, specifically with players who do not.
With the second pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr from Toulouse, France, overtime elite and Australia's Perth Wildcats of the NBL.
Alex Sarr, when they were 13, they played together for 3 years on the national team, so the Frenchman standing out, especially big men with Wembanyama, Risacher, and Sarr. And again, he's a tall drink of water when you look at him.
But again, I go back to the size. I mean, this is it was.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
With the third pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Reed Sheppard from the University of Kentucky.
I mean, no one had a bigger rise in the past year on NBA draft boards than Reed. Third overall to the Houston Rockets, because this young man can shoot everywhere on the basketball floor.
Yes, he can. This brother's a sharpshooter, 54% shooting from the field, 52% from three-point range. That's a marksman right.
NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Stephon Castle from the University of Connecticut.
The 2024 Big East Freshman of the Year.
I like people in the draft that have already won. And he was a huge part, and he probably deferred offensively. If you want to knock on him, it's like, is he a secondary playmaker? He said he could play some point guard. Bottom line is, this guy's going to play. And I love the pick for the San Antonio Spurs, specifically around Wembanyama. They're building a team, and Wembanyama.
With the fifth pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Ron Holland II from Dallas, Texas, and the NBA G League's team Ignite.
After dismissing Monty Williams, and they owe him $65 million after just one season. Holland sees himself as an energetic leader on the court and likes to compare himself to one of the players that calls this building home.
2024 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Tidjane Salaun from Cholet, France.
Tidjane Salaun, the third Frenchman taken in tonight's draft. And
81.5 from the line. Free throw shooting percentage is very predictive of how well you can shoot the three in the NBA. So it's a good indicator for him. But I think he plays early, Kevin and Stephen A., from his defense. But fascinating, if you're ever talking about the growth of this game internationally, three French players.
In the 2024 NBA Draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Donovan Clingan from the University of Connecticut.
the two-time.
Him. Where he's going, 29th ranked offense in the NBA, worst three-point shooting team in the NBA. They had other needs. I get it. I understand it. I just...
With the 8th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham from the University of Kentucky.
They go for the speed at guard.
You bring it to the table. You're looking out for Wembanyama when you do this, because you don't want to just hand him the ball and say, find a way to rescue us from the perimeter, from inside, from outside the three-point line, because we don't have anybody else that can do it. No, with this kid, they'll probably have somebody that can do it. I like him a lot.
And he's going to score. I mean, we look at that. I know, Stephen, that you love scoring.
Yes.
It's a huge part.
With the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Zach Edey from Toronto, and Purdue University.
He wasn't ranked out of high school. And we're talking about an unbelievable Big Ten history, nicknamed the Big Maple. And keep in mind, he's only played basketball for 6 years. Where he found basketball as a sport was after playing hockey and baseball. And then he rise to a 2-time National Player of the Year and 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year. Once again, wasn't ranked.
10th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Cody Williams from the University of Colorado.
Cody Williams, 2 years ago, older brother Jalen was selected 12th. Later, he's now walking up on the stage, a higher pick than his brother Jalen.
Which is surprising. Jalen was fantastic in college. And Cody's drafting on potential, basically. They're drafting him on potential. He's a great processor of the game. But he had some games where you didn't see him as much out there. So he's in a potential. He's an upside pick. Some people say he's one of the most skilled players in the draft. By the way, can we have a handshake? Like, did you just see that handshake those brothers had?
Impressive.
So can we get something like that?
We got to work on our brother. We got to work on that.
2024 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Matis Buzelis from Chicago and the NBA's G League Team Ignite.
Second time G League Ignite, had multiple lottery picks with Holland and Buzelis going in this lottery. The Lithuanian staying home in Chicago. Great unknown when we talk about what he can do. At 6'9", 197 pounds, a 2023 McDonald's All-American. Played basketball in Kansas, Boys Basketball Player of the Year in 2023. He's a competitive.
Under select Nikola Topic from Belgrade, Serbia, and Serbia's Crvena Zvezda.
This is the biggest unknown in the draft. Team that could do that.
Well, listen, let me say this about Sam Presti. He hasn't won a championship as the leading executive. That's about the only thing he hasn't done. Because everything else he's done, he's been phenomenal at his job. There's no doubt about it. You got to trust that he knows what he's doing here, particularly with the
NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Devin Carter from Providence College.
The 2024 Big East Player of the Year. All in the Big East in rebounds at 9 per game.
Well, his rebounding rate was off the charts. I mean, it was right there. Clingan was ahead of him, a couple other guys, but he is an energy cyclone. I mean, this guy, you feel him. I can feel him from here. I mean, you can feel the energy. He's only
select Bub Carrington from the University of Pittsburgh.
He was known as Carlton Carrington, and then he changed his name to Bub Carrington. His dad known as Bub, he was called Little Bub, and he was 7 when he was with Georgia Tech, and he is on his way to Washington.
Yeah, he's a guy that did a lot late, and he showed that he could play a primary ball handling position. He could handle that responsibility. Only 18 years old, but he's got good size, 6'4". A lot of potential with this player. Probably where...
From Indiana University.
Started his career at Oregon, transferred to Indiana, and he was fantastic in the Big Ten. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, shoots the 3.
A little bit more shot blocking, rebounding, but a great pick by the Heat.
Everybody's been so focused on what's going to happen with Jimmy Butler. Let me tell you this. The Miami Heat know that Bam Adebayo, as great as he is, and congratulations on him getting his bag, he doesn't really need to be at the 5. He needs to be playing with another big in their lineup. If you're a guy that...
From Duke University.
Bob, you called it. The 2024 ACC All-Rookie team coming out of Duke, shot 41% from 3.
But he does a lot of things really well.
Getting the hug from Kyle Filipowski, who's also waiting to hear his name called. You mentioned how he finished the tournament with 16 threes, the most by a Duke freshman in a single tournament in Duke history, tying with his head coach, John Shire, we just saw giving him some love.
You are on the basketball court with Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Dalton Connect from the University of Tennessee.
You got it there, Stephen A. A unanimous first-team All-American. A shooter is going to LA.
I'm worried for Lakers fans. I'm worried for Lakers fans. I'm worried.
That's what he brings to the table. I think this is the pick you were supposed to get. Way to go, Lakers. Way to go.
God.
That's what you needed to do.
I am very afraid for Laker Nation.
Oh, stop it, man.
I'm
Come on, man.
I feel awful for them.
Really?
So bad.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Celebration.
They should be concerned.
Tristan da Silva from Munich, Germany, and the University of Colorado.
And you see this young man, Da Silva, coming from Colorado. Second team all Pac-12 selection this past season. Just, again, modern NBA, versatile player. He could do it all.
Yeah, and look, this guy was another guy that rose up at the end. Kind of a do-everything guy over his last 14 games. Kevin, he averaged 17 points, 52 from the field, 42 from three. Another guy that's a little bit older.
Kobe Walter from Baylor University.
The Big 12 Freshman of the Year. 6'5", 198 pounds, the 19-year-old. Led Baylor with 14 points per game.
3 up. 34% could be a little bit better. He was 79 from the line, but he's a physical player. A lot of people view him as a guy that can defend immediately and hold his own very quickly at the NBA level due to his physical stature.
Joins a Raptors team where Scotty Barnes, according to Woj, reporting a 5-year deal, $270 million.
24 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Jalen Tyson from the University of California, Berkeley.
See the reaction with the Cavaliers. First Cal player to go in round 1 since that we all have heard about, Jaylen Brown in 2016. From Austin to Lubbock and finally to Berkeley, Jalen's game has evolved at each stop.
Hands off the roof. So when I was at University of Texas, I was just a shooter. When I got to Texas Tech, I found out I was a really good rebounder. From those two schools going to Cal, everything just was put together.
NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Yves Missi from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and Baylor University.
First thing that comes into mind, defense, size.
The question now is, it's interesting because this is a team that is going to play a guy with Zion Williamson, right? And so you always want to know, is Zion going to push his game out to start shooting some threes? Because this is not a three-point shooter here in Missi. And so you say, how do you play him with Zion Williams? Because Zion Williams has shown, at least Stephen A, in the last year, that he's...
Deron Holmes II from the University of Dayton.
Holmes led the Atlantic 10 in scoring, rebounding, and double-doubles. First Dayton player since Obi Toppin taken in the first round. Only the third Dayton.
You just listen. You want somebody that's willing to defend. You want somebody that's going to prioritize that. You want them to have some offensive ability, of course, be some kind of a threat. But you don't need it that much, particularly with the offensive firepower you have on it. You need defenders, willing defenders, people that's willing to stop somebody. And that's what I think you've got here to some degree anyway.
Yeah, look, positionally, is he a 4? Is he a 5? Question marks. But he scored at an unbelievable rate, 40 points per 100 possessions. You wonder...
The Bucks select A.J. Johnson from Fresno, California, and Australia's Illawarra Hawks of the NBL.
A.J. Johnson, part of the crowd. A handful of prospects decided to come to Brooklyn, joining the NBL. That's the professional league in Australia. And the numbers don't pop out, but there was a guy that played for that Hawks team in Australia a few years ago, and he turned out to be pretty good. His name was LaMelo Ball.
Well, the 24th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Keyshawn George from Monte, Switzerland, and the University of Miami.
We all see it. That team is trying to fill this entire roster with a ton of youth for the Wizards, and we're talking about a young man who shot 41% from 3, 20 years old. Played point guard growing up, was 5'9" at the age of 15, has great instincts as a passer. Now he's at 6'8". His basketball
Draft. The New York Knicks select Pacom Dadier from Vitry-sur-Seine, France.
Wait, I'm going to change that face. Edey, by the way, the 4th Frenchman taken in the first round of this draft. Ready for this.
Okay.
You got length there. 6'9", shooting 40% from 3.
Okay.
Last, he probably, even a veteran guy that played in college, would have a hard time cracking this Knicks lineup, and that's a compliment. They are a deep team, and they are flush at the guard position, and it's just going to be hard for anybody. So they went the long route, took a very young player with a lot of upside that can shoot the ball.
And he's 18 years old.
Is he going to play in practice?
Devin Jones from Weber State University.
All right, Stephen A. You're getting a guy who's 6'6", 235 pounds. Led the Big Sky Conference in points, rebounds, and assists. The only player in the country to lead a conference in all 3. Averages 21 points per game. Shot 32% from 3. How we feeling?
Are we still recording?
He's a big body.
Yes.
Clearly physical. We like that in New York because we're going to need something like that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's saying this trade with the Wizards is not going to the Knicks. It's going to the Thunder.
Okay.
So Oklahoma City gets somebody who could score once again.
I'm not going to react to this. Leon Rose has given us every reason to believe in him. All right, if he believes that this is a pick that needs to go elsewhere, I'm going to trust his judgment. I know that's an aberration for me.
NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Terrence Shannon Jr. from the University of Illinois.
Shannon, a wing out of Illinois, 23 years old, classic 3-and-D player in the modern 10 semifinals, a tournament record. Terrence's talent on the court is undeniable. In his own words, Shannon gives us a breakdown on what his game will be in the league.
Me on the defensive end, I'm a really good on-ball defender. I can get downhill in transition. I'm a good communicator, and I'm a good shooter.
He splashed.
NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Ryan Dunn from the University of Virginia.
6'8". When you come from Virginia, you better play defense.
And that's a compliment for somebody to get, and you get him at this point in the draft, and you say he's going to be at least a high-quality defender. The question, obviously, if he was a great offensive player, he's a top 5 pick. So he's on one side of the ball, showing he can do it. But the question is can he develop a shot? That is something players can develop as they move along in the NBA.
Well, Isaiah Collier from the University of Southern California.
He was a year ago the #1 high school recruit.
Arizona State. He might be more of an off-ball guy than he was at USC. He had a lot of responsibilities there. 34 from 3, 67 from the free throw line. I'd like to see a little bit better shooting mechanics. But there's no reason why he can't be very, very successful. He dominated prior to showing up in college, and the USC season was up and down for many reasons, including his own Isaiah Collier. But
2024 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Baylor Shireman from Creighton University. And that concludes the first round.
they have Sam Hauser. Don't they have Hauser?
He is unbelievable. The first Division I men's player in history to have at least 2,000 career points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists, and 300 threes. He could do it all.
And shooting always translates. And we're joking around about this. So he can play on any team, to be honest. I mean, he's a good pick.